Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of, what am I drinking? Decaffeinated chaga tea. It's basically a tea with a little scoop of chaga powder in there. Keep the immune system up, please, people, please. All right. Silver's performing a little better than gold, but they're still massively undervalued. Massively undervalued. Let me say that again. Silver is still massively undervalued. 150 years of price suppression is about to bust loose, and silver's trading at $15.50. Of course, you cannot get any silver at $15.50. Please watch yesterday's interview, my interview with Andy Scheckman of Miles Franklin, called Alert Physical Silver Supply Logjam. It is more than a logjam. Every mint from the governments of the world has shut down production. They are starting supposedly to ramp up. There is a rumor, and I want to get this on paper. If any of you dealers have this on paper, there's a rumor that the mint has asked Steve Mnuchin if they can pay 50 cents above current market to secure physical silver blanks. If we ever get that on paper, that's against the law under commodity rules, under the CFTC's rules. It is against the law. Which law? If we're talking about the law that the Silver Eagle law, it's required. It's required for the mint to pay as much as possible to secure silver blanks. If we're talking about the CFTC and commodities trading laws, it is against the law. Not to pay more, but it's against the law that the COMEX prices are overruling the physical market. That's the only thing the CFTC is supposed to look for, is manipulation in the market. Why do we even have a CFTC if they're not going to do their job? Everybody knows there's no silver to be found at $15.50. Many people are paying over $20 an ounce for Silver Eagle. What don't they understand about manipulation? This is why the CFTC and the COMEX are going to shut down for a while, and then they'll restart with new rules. And those new rules, at some point, most likely will include some kind of verification, decentralized trading, or our friend Reggie Middleton will come in and save their asses and use Veritasium for peer-to-peer transactions, which he's already doing. And oh, by the way, the SEC has frozen 98 million Veritasium tokens that sit in limbo, and nobody knows why. We all speculate, but nobody knows. Anyway, that's where our future's headed. Insane. Andy has some silver in inventory. I would suggest everybody only buy silver that you can get your hands on right away. Go to your local coin shops. If they're open, try to get silver. Andy's got some silver in inventory. If he can ship it to you, order it now. He's got some on back order. He's saying that they're going to come in. Nobody ever knows, especially in this day and age. If the banks crash, nothing goes anywhere. But that opens up a whole new can of worms. And I will be posting this week the updated timeline of where I see this shit going. So just to prove that the silver riggers are in deep trouble, Peru extends lockdown along with Mexico. An estimated 40% of global silver mine supply is now offline. Did you hear that? 40% of silver mine supply is now offline. Will they ever go back online? I doubt it. If these silver producing countries had a brain or a half a brain, they would never export another ounce of silver. See what happens to JPMorgan and the rigging job if they can't get their hands on any physical silver. And then these banks will go down and disappear. Silver is the key to killing the banks in the road to Ruta theory. And I've shown it many times, and I will continue to talk about it, because right now we're closer than we've ever been. I did talk to my good friend Cliff High, and he said, we are very close to that $600 silver, but you're not going to want to live in that world. And it's true. And it's true. He has a new report up. I'll show you in just a second. So yes, now that the Peruvian government announced an extension of the country's state of emergency until April 26th, the world's first and second largest silver producers have taken 40% of global silver supply offline for a month. Do you see anything changing in the next month for the better? No. We might threaten war unless they start giving us their silver. I don't think Trump would do that, but someone like Hillary Clinton would do that. Obama would do that. Bush would do that. Silver is key to take it out the banks. So we will see. We hang on tight. Meanwhile, central banks add more gold to their reserves. Central banks continue their gold buying spree in February, although the pace of gold purchases has slowed compared to last year's record purchases. On net, central banks globally added another 36 tons of gold to their reserves. This is all behind the scenes. I think there is gold. I think there's a ton of gold out there. And you can buy it. You can't buy the silver because there's none out there. Especially at $15 an ounce. Who in the hell would want to sell their silver at $15 an ounce? An exchange takes a two-way transaction. One buyer and one seller. And the riggers, who are completely underwater, no, JPMorgan's not one of them. The top 8, according to Ted Butler, they're going to lose about $1 billion an ounce as silver goes up. What is that at $600 silver exactly? Do I think that the COMEX will be open when there's $600 silver? No. I don't think the COMEX will stay open after $40 silver. I think they'll just shut it down. And I think it should be shut down. Anyway, cryptocurrencies doing about the same, just hovering around there. Yes, Steve Mnuchin can click a mouse and put it to zero. Click a mouse to put it to $1 million of Bitcoin. That's how rigged it is. That's how easy it is. The bad guys in the cryptocurrency world, the Dick Allgaier crowd, yes, absolutely. They're rigging everything with their lovely rig job Tether. Look how much Tether traded in the last 24 hours. It's just stupid. $42 billion in the last 24 hours. Supposedly, Tether has $6.369 billion worth of dollar backing. Actually, they changed it from dollar to other assets, dollar and other assets, which is anything. So, hey, at least we know how much wealth the bad guys have. 6.3 billion. And they leverage it up to Kingdom Come, 42 billion on the criminal exchanges, Bitfinex, Binance. Anybody who trades Tether on their exchange is part of the criminal cabal, if you ask me. Litecoin traded 3.7 billion in the last 24 hours. And Charlie Lee, sorry, bud, all the Litecoin ever mined is only worth 2.6 billion. Tell me how 3.7 billion, that's 3.8 billion, traded in the last 24 hours. It's a fraud. It's a con. Get your cryptos off the exchanges. The exchanges will all disappear. Yes, Kraken and Coinbase as well. When the banks go down, Kraken and Coinbase will not be open for business. And you'll be lucky if they make it through anything. You'll probably be in a bankruptcy like the Mt. Gox bankruptcy. I still haven't been paid out from the Mt. Gox bankruptcy. I had one Bitcoin in there. They've whittled it down to like, I don't know what it's worth now, like $300 or something. When Mt. Gox went down, how many years ago now? 8 years? That's what you'll be dealing with if you have your cryptos in any of these exchanges. Coinbase included. Why? Because they'll have to go through bankruptcy. If they lose all their cash with the banking collapse, they'll have to go through bankruptcy. And how long will it take to sort that bankruptcy out? How much will you lose in that bankruptcy? Look how much the people lost in the Mt. Gox bankruptcy. Vast amount. I had one Bitcoin in there. Back at the time, it was worth $450. And I'm going to get less than that probably back, even though Bitcoin has gone through the roof since then. It's insane. If that ever resolves. So do you really want to be in line waiting to get your piddly pennies back from Coinbase because you're too lazy to get it off the exchange or didn't know how. You don't know how, just go online. It's so easy. How do I make a paper wallet? Get a Trezor, KeepKey, Ledger Nano. Ledger Nano S is the other one I have. Ledger Nano S. And if you don't know what you're doing, go on YouTube. The crypto people are brilliant about posting videos on how to do it. It is a crypto university on YouTube. You can find out anything. And that's part of the responsibility of owning cryptocurrencies. You got to learn how to use them. And it is not hard. All you got to do is ask your question, and the YouTube search function, you're going to find 10, 20 answers. Look at a bunch of them, figure out which one makes sense to you, and do it. People always send me emails. Oh, what are cryptos? How do you play in cryptos? And what do? I say, go to YouTube. Use the search function. You'll find out. Do the same thing I did to learn about cryptos. Use the search function on YouTube. You don't know how to make a paper wallet? Go to YouTube. Use the search function. You don't know how to get your cryptos off Coinbase? Go to YouTube. Use the search function. It's that easy. It is an amazing resource of cryptocurrency knowledge on YouTube. All right, we have some banks have balls enough to start their earnings season. They weren't required. Which means basically the banks that are going to get really screwed are going to wait as long as they can. The banks that supposedly hedged with derivatives won't be all that bad off. And we know the biggest derivative rigger in the world, JPMorgan. Even JPMorgan's profit plunged to 7-year lows on $6.8 billion in loan losses. That is nothing as far as loan loss reserves. How are they going to hedge their derivative book with derivatives? As Diamond warns of a severe recession. Oh, really? What? You can't say depression? Is that not part of your vocabulary, Jamie? He belongs in jail. We all know it. Hopefully one day he will be there, just not today. And so the worst quarterly earnings season since the financial crisis. Now remember, they're reporting for the first 3 months of the year. January, February were pretty much normal. March is when the corona attack really started hitting. And so imagine the second quarter earnings if they are even open for the second quarter. So the worst earnings season since the financial crisis is off. When moments ago, JPMorgan reported that it missed expectations with earnings plunging from a year ago, reporting quarter one adjusted revenue of $29 billion, which is minus 2.6% year on year, and missed the estimate of 29.52, while earnings per share was 78 cents, down 71% from $2.65 a year ago. Breaking these down, net interest income was $14 billion. Now, that's for the first quarter. Second quarter, no one's going to be able to pay interest on anything. So we'll see what happens. Flat versus the prior year with the impact of lower rates offset by balance sheet growth and mix as well as higher net income in CIB markets. Nonetheless, revenue was $14 billion, down 5%, included a $951 million loss in credit adjustments. That means they don't want to tell you what they lost $951 million on. In CIB driven by what the bank said was, quote, funding spread widening on derivatives and $96 million of markdowns for held for sale positions in the bridge book. Really, Jamie, are you having problems with your derivative book? If Jamie Dimon's having problems with the derivative book, everybody's having problems with the derivative book. Non-interest expense was $16 billion, up 3%. Net income growth plunges, lowest since 2013. Look at that loan provision loss, $8.27 billion. Let me tell you, it's not enough. Not even close to enough. Second quarter is going to be the bloodbath. If the banks last through the second quarter is going to be the bloodbath. JP Morgan said consumer reserve build was $4.4 billion, predominantly in card. Yeah, everybody's using their credit card. And the wholesale reserve build was $2.4 billion across multiple sectors, with the largest impacts in the oil, gas, real estate, consumer. All of those have gone to zero. They're not going to change their book, though. They can't. they would have to report massive, massive billion-dollar losses. And this is just the start. Looking ahead, JPMorgan said expects more net reserves to build in second quarter 2020. Duh. There's where this is it. The FICC trading. Now I include the FICC, which is the offshoot of the DTCC. It's where the banksters hide when they really need to hide some of these toxic assets. That's where they hide them. Let's see what he says about it. Get back to the bank's balance sheet. Let's look at the rest of the company's operations, starting with the investment banking and trading. We saw an impressive surge in results with JPMorgan reporting FICC sales and trading revenue of $4.99 billion. The FICC is a division of the DTCC, that criminal organization that holds all the toxic assets. If Jamie Dimon wants to hide his toxic assets, where does he sell it? He goes right to the FICC because they pay big dollar to bail out the banks. 34% increase, and far better than the estimate of $4.11 billion, driven by strong client activity across products. Yeah, right. Then listen to what he says. First quarter equities sales and trading revenue also surged on the March market chaos, rising to $2.2 billion. That means Jamie Dimon and friends in the derivative market made $2.2 billion off the chaos, high above the estimate of $2.05 billion, quote, predominantly driven by higher revenue in derivatives, blah, blah, blah. What a criminal operation. Now, this is the strongest bank in the world. Strongest bank in the world is struggling. Imagine the weakest participant in the derivatives market, right? So here we have the next bank to declare their earnings, which is hysterical. Wells Fargo reports a 1 cent profit after loss provisions soaring to $4 billion. 1 cent, really? No, they're not massaging that number at all, are they? We can't have a loss. We can't have a loss. Don't declare anything. Keep us above a gain. Let's have a 1 cent profit. With JPMorgan starting first quarter earnings season by taking a whopping $6.8 billion in COVID net loss reserve in Q1, it appears that the bank is bracing for even more pain in Q2. Even if the number was enough to allow JPMorgan to report a profit in Q1, albeit down some 69%, instead of outright loss. Moments after JPMorgan, Wells Fargo followed suit when it reporting a surge in credit costs in the first quarter, setting aside $4 billion in loss provisions in the first quarter, almost 5 times what it allocated a year ago. Amusingly, despite this surge in provisions, Wells too reported an earnings per share profit, but the smallest possible of just 1 cent, down from $1.20 last year. No, they're not hiding any losses in their books. We cannot have a loss. We cannot have a loss. It is stupid. It's so insane. It's stupid. And these are the two biggest, most sound banks in America, in the world. Good night, all you weak banks. Good night. Anyway, hey, Cliff posted a new video, critical thinking, what they all missed, about year zero, outlining year zero, the food shortages. That was his original year zero discussion we had back in September. He did a video for us for the Litecoin Summit, and he talked about year zero and how the military was saying 2020 is year zero because of the food situation, not of COVID, of the food situation. That's going to be the big mother, is what Cliff is saying. Watch this. It's important. What you can do about it, it's almost immobilizing when you think about what the future holds. The future will be nothing like the past. Nothing. So keep that. I'm triple thinking whether or not I should stay where I am. Then again, how good am I at living off the land? I have no idea. Better than some, worse than most. Well, better than most, worse than some. How's that? Yeah. I don't know. We came down here for a reason, right? Our soul said, hey, I want to experience this transition firsthand. And this is it. Yes, I thought I was going crazy the last couple of days. Absolutely. I've been learning about shit that I don't want to learn about. I don't want to learn about, soul harvesting and shit like that. Crazy shit. I'm going to sit with Bitcoin Ben this afternoon and have a nice long discussion. We're going to put it on our private Patreon sections and for Road to Root on the private road as well. So I look forward to that. He's got a lot going on as well. If you guys want to learn about the biohazard, I put the documentary right at the very top of Road to Root. Go to roadtoroot.com. Proof Cliff High was 100% right about the coronavirus. Right there is the documentary. It interviews the people involved, all the evidence you need to understand that this is a bioweapon. It is extremely dangerous and you should take it seriously. Chaga, vitamin C. I'm going to put the stuff the stuff that I take below this video and links to the Amazon where you can get them. It is so important to harden your immune system. Just even to get halfway down this this path of the transition. Everybody I know now has this little nagging cough. I don't know if it's COVID. I doubt it. Just everybody I know has a cough. But has, anybody who says, oh, it's not COVID, well, you don't know until you get tested, right? I don't plan on taking a test. I won't take a vaccine. That ain't going to happen. So, yeah, check this out if you want to know what this thing is and where it came from. Really good documentary. And then if you want to subscribe to Road to Ruta, hit subscribe today, and you will be sent one of the very last silver coins on planet Earth. The silver Ruta coin, the coolest coin in the world. There's Ruta jumping up and down on the silver brick road. $600 silver coming fast. And it's going to be very scary when it gets here. Cave of Gold in the Grand Canyon, each individually numbered and double stamped with luster. Go check it out. And you get a Veritasium lottery ticket. Just hit subscribe today and join the private road. $299 for a full year, and these get mailed to your front door. And you'll be all of a sudden into cryptos. You'll have your first crypto lottery ticket, one Veritasium token. This is Bix. I'll talk to you guys later.